Brace yourselves, everyone. We're going to talk about Star Wars. Whew, I know. I mean, of all the things people talk about on the internet, Star Wars is certainly one of them.
Hey, guess what? This is my theme song.
The Force Awakens sequel, The Last Jedi, is coming out in just a couple months. It has now become essential to clarify which movie comes after which movie thanks to Rogue One, which I hated every second of. But I digress. We're gonna get a new Star Wars themed movie every year for the next year, always. I love how Weird Al correctly predicted that many years ago. And we're already starting to see a pattern forming. When The Force Awakens came out, at first, everyone loved it. And it took about a year and many repeat viewings before people started seeing through it. Suddenly, people were all opinions about how the movie was terrible. Plot hole this and miss opportunity that. Personally, I think you can enjoy the feeling you get from watching a movie enough to overlook the small imperfections. I enjoy The Force Awakens so much that I don't care that Finn's backstory doesn't make sense. Or who the heck is Lor Santekka? It honestly would have been cool if it was Jar Jar Binks saying this will begin to make things right moments before he was cut down by Kylo Ren's lightsaber. Yeah, that would have been cool. But one of the biggest things that people have a problem with is when we finally see Master Luke at the end of the film, he doesn't speak. Look, I get it. We spent the whole movie looking for him. We finally find him in isolation. A beloved Jedi Master played by a beloved and talented voice actor, and they don't let him speak. But think about it for a second. What could he possibly have said that would have had more emotional impact than the scene already has? Sometimes nothing is better than something. No comment can be better than a comment, because a comment presents an idea and commits to it, whereas no comment could be any comment and is therefore every comment. Anything he could have said at that point would most likely have been anticlimactic. Having him not say anything leaves it open-ended. The same principle can be applied to anything. A joke that isn't a joke can often be better than any joke. Once you make a joke about a topic, then you've committed to that specific topic. The scene feels so dramatic and epic because Luke doesn't speak, because then your mind fills in the void of the unspoken tension, therefore making it even more epic. It also ends the scene. It feels complete. Anything Luke would have said there would only have led to the start of a conversation, but the movie's about to end. He can't start a conversation. If you stop for a second and ask yourself what he could have said, you'll find yourself giving answer after answer. But he can't say all those things. He'd have to pick one. But not one of them could possibly be as impactful as all of them. And much like Schrodinger's cat, by not saying anything, he said everything. This was a masterful move of genius. The other reason why Luke didn't speak is tradition. Every single ending scene in every other Star Wars movie, no one speaks. The scenes are full of dramatic stares and no dialogue. There's a link to a playlist as well in the place where links generally are, with all of the ending scenes to all of the movies. For research purposes, I highly suggest you go back and you take a look. With 6 prior movies setting precedent, and The Force Awakens trying so hard to invoke much of the same feelings as A New Hope, of course the final scene isn't going to have any dialogue. Side note, there's nothing wrong with The Force Awakens invoking the same feelings as A New Hope. Much like finely crafted poetry repeats the same themes from verse to verse. It makes perfect sense that the final scene had dramatic staring and no dialogue. In fact, I predict The Last Jedi will end the same way. Dramatic staring, no one says a word. Yes, all the other Star Wars movies ended like that. Okay, yes, Rogue One had dialogue in the final scene, but that movie doesn't count. No, not just because I hated it. It's not actually a Star Wars film. It's not Star Wars Episode 6.5 Rogue One. It's Rogue One, a Star Wars story. By its own definition, it's not a Star Wars film. Did you notice how there was no opening crawl? Yeah, exactly.
You gotta love Lamp.
But yes, I hated every second of Rogue One. In fact, I'll probably make a whole nother video ranting about why, because there's many reasons. I even saw it twice in the theater, hoping that I would like it more on the second viewing, and I didn't. But I'll make another video about that, because honestly, I could rant and rant and rant and rant and rant and rant.
I owe you!
Here at the end screen, I would like to invite you to see some of my other stuff at the links over here. I'd also like to invite you to consider supporting my show, The Darkest Timeline, on GoFundMe, link in the place where links generally are. And thank you for watching the Easily Amused group. Of all the shows on the internet that you've watched, this one is the most recent.